Okay, we'll grab a cup here. This is like a 2.5 ounce cup. We put in some resin. This section is fairly large, so we're going to go almost to the top there, like that. And grab some hardener and count off. When it starts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. That'll be enough for what we've got there. If it was full, it'd be 20 drops. Stick that in. Where's our stir stick? It's got a bunch of crap on it. Makes it work even better. And then once this is mixed up nice, this isn't actually working very well because it's got that big chunk on it. I thought it'd work good because it had a paddle on it. We'll see. Try to keep the flies out of your resin because they'll make bumps in your finished work. You can sand them out, I guess. It's a bad way to go, drowning and then being sanded to pieces. But there, you see that just kind of melts right in there. Okay, this is ready to go. We're going to make that drip all over, and this is foam board, which is the best to use for a spreader because it's cheap, number one. Number two, foam melts under the chemical reaction of this resin, and so as it melts, it will form to the shape that you're going for, which ends up working out real nice. So get this all spread in, get it to conform to that edge. I want it going all the way over it. And you got to be conscious of how fast this stuff is going to set up. That's why I've got my drops down to a science here. Because if it sets up too fast, then you're done before your stuff is all saturated. And then when you go to try and saturate it the second time, it's already got some resin in there, and it will block. You'll get air bubbles, and it won't adhere. And what we want is what we're seeing right here, where it almost goes transparent, and it's all mixed down and in. We'll start working on this edge. Try to pick it up and push it back where we need it. You want all the white visible fabric to be melted together, and you want to overlap that edge a little bit too. You're gonna have to drip a little bit. That's okay. It's kind of just the way it goes because you got to saturate that edge. You want it to pull around the corner. I'm not wrapping it underneath, but I want it to get as much of that corner as I can with it, and then I'm gonna sand it off once it's set up. Here you see the trouble with air bubbles. You don't want the fabric to lift or give you any kind of raised, stabby edges. You want to get it all down as much as you can along that edge. It's starting to thicken up a little bit. Depending on the temperature, and the temperature of the resin especially, this will change viscosity and setup time. And so you kind of want to keep an eye on it, because once it starts to go, if you tried it yesterday, I was doing it and it was really hot and the resin was getting hot because it's in a metal can in the sun, and this stuff, when it would start to go, I'd panic and try to get it all in there, because it's really a lot easier to do it the first time than to go back in and try and fix what you've messed up. Anyway, you pour it all in as it's setting up, and you just roll garbagey beads of fiberglass over the whole thing, and it's not a good surface. So you want to make it so that you've got enough time lay it out. And I'm pretty stoked because I'm finally getting it to where I can plan the amount of resin I need and not have a bunch left over, and work slow enough that by the time this is done, it's already melting holes in the cup. So I guess this is expensive to do because the resin costs money, the fabric costs money, and then there are disposables that make doing this a lot easier. Like if you can get a bunch of gloves to throw away and a bunch of cups to throw away and a bunch of foam board to just burn through, already used that edge, just use this edge. This is now garbage, right? So you toss that over here, you toss the cup because it's going to be good for nothing, and then these are good for one more use because I didn't get very much on me. That's the other reason you want to use a spreader. You can just use your gloves, but any of this other stuff gets stabby. You start poking holes through it, and now why are you wearing gloves? You're just holding resin on your hands, stuck to your hands. So that's good. That'll set up, and we can move to the other fender now.